Welcome back. He was the flame. Okay, part 2. So we're gonna finish. I'm gonna read you the chaos card for the Mythos tarot by Helena, Elias. So let's go through when you're starting off on this chaos journey and you're feeling really raw and vulnerable. Some protective mechanisms. Steer clear of people who don't like music, don't like babies, don't like animals of any kind. If you're demonizing animals, you're demonizing the inner world of yourself. We are all interconnected. People who like to demonize snakes it's a coil. It's your coiled heart. Your heart is not compartments. It's a coiled snake. So as within, so without. We love the as above, so below, but we forget the as within, so without, and vice versa. So if you're seeing on the outside of yourself, it's already in here. Okay? Let me repeat myself. If you're seeing it outside of yourself, it already exists within you. Dun, dun, dun. What you focus on amplifies. You create your reality with what you choose to focus on. I can't stress that enough, and it is a difficult concept to grasp because you are dealing with all these outside forces. You are interacting with all these outside forces, but they're just the inner you trying to work through the work through the vines of life. So where the sun comes in is where you need to look at. So because that's where you can see, and in the chaos you can't see anything, so you're forced to go inside and feel. And then when you're going through that process, the outside will bring in exactly what it is you need to face about your own life. The fears, the panics, the joy, the bliss, the love, the anxiety all starts here. And so if you can sit with that and burn in that emotion, and I apologize for the background noise. My dog has seen fit to start nesting as I push play. So, we're going to let him do that because it's his house. So, and he's nesting and making himself a happy little bed. So, when the emotions hit that are uncomfortable, is you just need to sit and process. What is this trying to teach me? How is this trying to help me? Because the moment you can step in, and I know this is tricky, I know it's hard, and I'm the first to tell you that this is a difficult process, because with the Agent Smiths coming out, you're like, really? Is it really? The universe itself is always working in your favor and begging you for evolution. It's begging you for evolution. And it gets denied when you deny yourself. When you deny the work that you need to do on the inside so you can manifest whatever it is you desire on the outside. And this is hard to sit in. I'm not saying it's not. But I have come to a point in my life that the reason why people don't like me anymore has shifted. I thought in the beginning, if I can just make myself into someone that people will love, they will love me. And that's not the case. You abandon yourself in order to get love and acceptance. You abandon yourself repeatedly just to gain that love and acceptance. What you need to be aiming at is authenticity. How can I show up as me in the world today? How can I offer myself as a gift? How can I be in service to the world through my authenticity? Because if you find your authenticity, there's your gift to the world. All the other shit is fake. So you're going around faking everybody you encounter just so they will be okay with you. And for those of us who hold this really deep space inside of us, I was like, how did I not put this in a mean, cruel way? Gotta let dry go out here. Yeah, I think his name is going to be Drage. Drage. I'm not sure which language it is, but it means beloved. So it's I don't want to put this in a way that's going to be off-putting because you're going to be like, ew, I don't want that. So whatever it is within you, I'll just keep not using myself as an example. So you go through life and you're like, okay, people like this, we should do that. Okay, people really like that, we should do that. That's manipulation tactics. And as much as everybody's like, ooh, I want to be this and that and the other thing on YouTube, YouTube is not going to, the algorithm has been so tainted now that it's not going to feed authenticity any longer, because that's too exposing to the system, okay? So the algorithm is being manipulated by people behind the scenes who are obviously completely hollow shells. Probably not even working for a buck. I hate to say that, but it's the truth. So when you understand that you're not going to make it in the system set up in the current paradigm, you're going to make it through finding that authenticity within yourself. And that's how you collect your tribe. That's how you make a community. That's how you live your best life. That is how the light comes up within you and shows up the best. And it will piss people off, because people in general, number one, are not taught to want their own authenticity because they're afraid of it, just like they're afraid of emotions. And oftentimes, authenticity is directly tied to emotion. Not every single instance, but oftentimes it is. And so the suppression of that manifests itself in your own hell, for lack of better words. I hate using the regale binding spell narrative because it feeds that particular monster that we are trying to collectively bring to a reckoning ish. So, because if we can get people to understand that paradise is right here, it's right here. It's right here, it's right here, it's right here. Paradise is right here, okay? And you can create it for yourself. You don't have to be how everybody wants you to be. In fact, that's the opposite. That's how you put yourself in hell, because now you are a slave to other people's unconscious BS that they don't even know they're waiting around in. So the authenticity is a gift. First and foremost, in and of itself, is people will pick up on that frequency and resonance. Yes, you will be targeted. Abso-fucking-lutely. Why? Because you have stepped into a paradigm that's not existing within the matrix. You have stepped into being someone who is not just an avatar anymore. You're not just a made-up thing that looks a certain way. It has a resonance and a frequency and a vibration to it. You're not just a hollow shell with a pretty mask. You are now a full embodied being with your own sovereignty and your autonomy. You have possession of your own faculties. And that's what people don't like. And that's why the agent Smiths come. Okay? So when that starts to happen, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. It might not feel very comfortable. And it's going to be a struggle because you're going to have to work through the logos. Because instinctively, some of us like to tell people what time it is, where to stick it, and how far to shove it. Okay? So myself am working through that logos of like, okay, we'll style it back a little bit and ask the person what it is they were expecting out of that particular Agent Smith behavior. What were you expecting? Yes, Faye. Would you like the knuckle nickels? Come on. Come. So, if you can ask people, like, what was your intent with this? Most people are not like, I just want you to go away. Some people are like that, and you do just need to go away. Either way, usually you just need to go away, because you're not going to stick around and collect damage for somebody not being able to do the work. that's not your job. That's not what you're here for, right? Sweet kitten. My job, especially, I'm talking to the 12th house stelliums now. We see the shit coming from the cosmos, because the 12th house is the outer realm of our galaxy. The 12th house is where all of the things come in, and we've been painted as bad spirits by the astrologers, because there's a certain aspect of things where we can dial into the wheel and see how it's weaving the tapestry of life. And that's kind of oracle-ish in a way, for lack of a better word. Once again, I don't know what you would call it, but this paradigm keeps pushing people into little peg holes. You just need to pick a thing. You just need to eat the whole pie. Stop sticking your finger in it and just eat the whole pie. When we have a purpose to serve, that's not in success mode, if you will, that's not looking for accolades, that doesn't need to leave behind a thing with a thing. They just need to be like, okay, this is my energy, this is how you get there, this is blah 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 blah. I don't need to leave behind some building or whatever the hell, I don't know, bullshit, right, babe? So your legacy isn't always going to be some formulated, boxed thing. Sometimes the legacy you leave is with the people you've touched, okay? And sometimes that doesn't look good for every single solitary interaction. That looks like chaos. It looks like, did you have something else in mind when you were doing that? Or did you want to see what time it is? And most of the time, you got to tell them what time it is. And that's okay. But the modality that you step into has to come from authenticity. If it doesn't come from authenticity and sovereignty, it's a maladaptive mask that you've chosen to put on. And that's a hard thing for people to access even within themselves. You can conceive of making an avatar for yourself because you are ashamed of this, right? But you're programmed to believe that. We're programmed to look at certain facial structures, clothing, hair, whatever, and make judgments. Okay, look, see? Some people are going to judge this and be like, that's so ugly, ew! And some people are going to be like, that's badass. And some people are going to be like, wow, okay. Either way, it's authenticity, right? Because I'm not caring what people are thinking when they're looking at me. I don't care. You have the perspective of you, and that has no reflection on me. And that's a really, really hard, strong place to come from. And it comes off as, I suppose it comes off as arrogance, not caring what other people think. But if you're sovereign in that, and you know what your intent is, people forcing something on you isn't going to change that. It doesn't change. Once you find your core piece, your source of chaos, once you find that, you like Jaggle? Yeah? Once you find that, you have now found your core center. You found your peace. So when you find that, you don't get moved from it. You simply stand guard and be like, excuse me, you're trying to enter into the forbidden places, and you're not allowed to enter the forbidden places. You need to find a different path. That's all. Okay? And, there might be some people that you meet that can enter those forbidden places. But again, you have to use discernment with that. Not judgment, discernment. So when you're making a judgment call, you're condemning person 1 to person 2 to person 3. You're making comparisons, okay? Comparisons aren't really good, because when an elephant, can't cut grass or whatever, I don't know, if a fish climbs a tree or some shit like that, that's not reasonable. Okay? When you don't know yourself, you're not going to be able to recognize people for their strengths or their weaknesses. You're going to have some concept of it because you haven't even assessed your own. So when you step into this chaos, this sovereignty, you have a responsibility to yourself, first and foremost. And that's really, really challenging. Because your whole life, you've been told to outsource that personal responsibility. At least for some of us. For a lot of us who grew up in religious households, personal responsibility is not a thing. You don't do it. What did some famous Italian actor said it? One of the mobster guys. Whatever. Anyway, he said he stole the bike because he knew that like working for it or whatever would have taken too long. And he knew that if he stole the bike, he could just ask God for forgiveness and then it would be all over. He didn't have to. It wouldn't matter. Personal accountability wouldn't matter because he'd just say sorry to Scarface Guy Daddy and then it would be over with. Not even the person who's got their bike stolen. Don't gotta apologize to that scumbag. No. We gotta apologize to Scarface Guy Daddy. So you can understand how that bleeds, that narrative just bleeds into people, and how then those people think that they have to have a messenger, that Scarface Guy Daddy has chosen, that, is going to dictate to them the horrific rituals dictated in that binding spell, whether any monotheistic has a binding spell narrative, and those things have come to fruition on a repeat, and we're still in denial about it. So when you step into your chaos, when you are at the bottomless pit of despair, seeking your dragoon, you have to remember that those belief structures that are netted in your spirit and your soul, your subconscious, are going to have an effect. They're going to have an effect. They're going to manifest as the collective does. As the collective manifests, you are going to see the same results. So if you don't care for freak-offs, maybe leave the monotheists alone. Maybe let go of that narrative that there needs to be a Scarface Guy Daddy screaming and yelling and whipping everybody. Maybe let that narrative rest in peace for like all time, space, energy. Okay, maybe let that kind of fade, because what's happening is you continue to use this logos, you continue to use the cheese and rice, and the cheese and rice keeps manifesting with the freak-offs and the grape and the your body, my choice narrative, and you don't seem to grasp that. And so unless you want that to keep manifesting, when you're in this chaos, you need to be diligent about what you're choosing. Because what you don't challenge, you choose. What you don't look at engulfs you. If you don't have the courage, the fortitude, the strength, the faculties to sit there and ask yourself, do I want to be a part of this? Do I want to continue to manifest continuous genocide? Is that what I want my reality to be? Do I want to manifest another world war? Do I want to manifest women losing their rights? Do I want to manifest extinction? Because when this keeps carrying out the way it does, and it is, there's particular groups of people that if they had read the fine print correctly, would understand there's an energetic charge of extinction behind it. You gotta read the fine print. If you don't read the fine print, you don't know what your vital life force energy is being used as a battery for. And when I say extinction, I am talking about past patterns that have been repeating and are now on our front doorstep. They're right at our front doorstep. And we're like, oh, but we need our Scarface Sky Daddy. Oh, but Scarface Sky Daddy is going to ensure extinction. Not my extinction. Oh, yes, love. Yes. You signed up for it. It is written in your fine print. And the travesty of it is most people have never read their fine print that they literally gave their vital life force energy, their soul, their spirit over to. They are not in possession of their faculties because it has been outsourced by the people who actually perform the rituals dictated in those binding spells. Okay? So moving forward, maybe, just maybe, pull back from the Scarface Sky Daddy narrative. Okay? Start cutting that netting that has entrapped your soul and your spirit in something you obviously don't understand. Okay? It feels good. But it's literally putting us in a realm of hell. Okay, so dogma, not the greatest thing to take forward. Unless you are a horrible, wretched, awful person. Which you're not going to really want dogma anyway, because you don't care that there's consequences for your actions. You don't care about what happens to other people. So you're, at this point, you're just pretending. You're just trying to save face, to go along with the crowd. So this needs to be a vetting process before you start creating your reality one more time around. One more time around the sun. We're going to start creating a yearly practice of how your vital life force energy is being put into the collective. Your battery, your vital life force energy, your soul, your spirit is being used to create a collective narrative. Whether you like it or not. It doesn't matter if you're not involved in a binding spell. Whatever it is that you have netted around your soul, spirit, subconscious, whatever the heck you want to call the vital life force energies, whatever is netting that will come back around again. This is an assessment time. This is a reflective time. Listen to winter songs and not the Christmas crap. Okay? Don't listen to seasonal stuff. They're reflective. Red Hot Chili Peppers, snow. That's a great one. The first snow of every year, I have a ritual. Every time it snows, we make a cookie of some sort. Every first snow, and we blare that song and all the other little winter songs that I have on my playlist after that. And that's our ritual for the year. That's our celebratory. We have now come into official rest, where anything that needs to be done on the outside includes dressing up and getting in snow gear and removing snow, right? So this is, and what does that snow do? When that sunlight hits it, it's reflective. It's reflecting back to you. So you need to let that happen naturally. It's a dormancy. It's a lying in a sacred, cold place. Chaos. And asking yourself, what can I do better next year? How did I F this up? How did I succeed? How can I transmute, transform, and transfer this energy into something better this year? That's what winter's for. Okay, it's a process of elimination. It's not a process of gathering more. It's a process of elimination. And then all the things that need your energetic attention will automatically bubble up in your environment, and you will resonate with them, and they will come in and create your reality. Okay? Now, unless you're an Agent Smith of chaos that needs constant And there are those people out there, and you just need to let them do their thing, okay? It's just a thing. It's just a thing. This is a multi-dimensional fractal ecosystem. And those people who need to be exposed to chaos, there is an agent for that. Those people who need to be exposed to wounding have a place in them that they need to heal. And they will continue to be exposed to the wounding until they heal that place. And sometimes that's our only purpose in life, is to expose those wounds. Sometimes our purpose in life is presenting something and saying, oh, you like the existence that I embody. Here you go. I don't have exactly what you need because everyone is their own individual. But there's a modality of existing that can get you to your own authentic, peaceful, blissful place amidst the chaos that is life. Because right now we are just brimming with chaos. We are in the darkest of the deepest of the darkest right now. And we just need to take in the information and process it correctly. If we can alchemize it in a way that turns it into a medicine, as painful and disgusting and as wretched as it might taste, it's going to eventually feed itself into its own demise. And that's what we're seeing right now. We unfortunately are so blind that we needed this horror to show up in our reality so we can say, maybe we should look at that now. Maybe our misogyny is half out of control and we need to dial it back in. Maybe. And if not, Mother Nature will continue to do her thing and vet the people who not only are useless to humanity, but are now threatening it off the planet. Because that's what she's already doing. So, again, if you need a binding extinction manual, because that's what they are. That's what they are. They're a binding extinction manual. Because that's what they ask of you. That's what they demand of you. In fact, they outright say it in the books. And no, I'm not going to tell you where to look or whatever to cherry pick. Go read the whole thing. Go read all the books of the Dark Triad and figure out for yourself. Because it's there. It's all there, black and white, clear as crystal. You don't need a Greek version. You don't need anything that's going to expose the horrific stuff that we already know that this particular energetic pattern produces. We don't need to see that specifically. Some of us just want to see it because it's like, yeah, I knew it the whole fucking time. Because we're waiting around in the pudding of this manifestation thing. That's why so many, biblical authorities are like, don't look into manifestation. That's evil. That's controlling what God intended for you. No, you are the God and you are intended to manifest your own reality. Unfortunately, when you have given the vital life forces over to some Scarface Sky Daddy, there are people on the planet that use them for batteries, manifesting your reality. And that's a hard pill to swallow. That's difficult because you played a part in that. I played a part in that for many years. For many, many years I played a part in that. And so as someone who's come through that, I think all of us who have come through that have a kind of civic duty, a responsibility to inform the general public. The problem is the general public pushes back against it because it interrupts their clout flow. It interrupts their pentacles flow. It interrupts their modality, the modus operandi, whatever the hell it is, for existence on the planet. Because if I can't have my pentacles from the people that are really, really, really willing to part with their pentacles if I use the right words, it's a pull. It's eighth house energy, other people's money. That's a monotheistic basis, foundation, cosmologically anyway. They do talk about the eighth house quite a bit. which is not only psychic, Scorpio ruled. Hence, you know, they hide in the most dangerous parts of the desert. So it's difficult to peck them out and pluck them, blah, 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 blah. You need a little mouse to do that. So when you can find that little niche, and I gotta do a whole video on that guy too. Y'all missed the point on Nietzsche. He was so anti-slave master, and everybody's like, Nietzsche's so hard to read. What? He's liberating. So, he's so anti-master slave narrative, and we're all like, master slave? Yeah, master slave. So you gotta get your mind out of that ownership, that constant, I need to possess this thing or I'm not going to be a whole person. No, you're a whole person already. Go find it on the inside with the chaos. Blast it. Oh, I was going to read the chaos card. Okay, so she is the Ace of Swords, and I don't have the card. I lost it. Because I was like, I know she's the right card. I don't you see that correctly? She's beautiful. So, primordial deity preceding the universe. Oh, I gotta whew. Before the existence of the universe, chaos was a primordial emptiness that lived at the dawn of creation. He was the formless and disordered mass. I thought chaos was a girl. Oh. See, but it looks... He has makeup on. Would it be? Okay, sorry. He was the formless and the disordered mass. Chaos and the form-fashioning Gaia birthed the god of darkness, Erebus. I'm going to keep pronouncing this incorrectly so everyone goes insane. And the goddess of the night, Nyx. Ooh. The breakthrough, the clarity, the sharp mind, the new ideas, truth, vision. Chaos is ever present, everywhere, and nowhere, all at once. Some light has leaked through the void, bringing it with a wave of new energy and understanding. You may be experiencing a realization or seeing the world with clear eyes as a place full of intellectual potential and opportunities to cultivate. Your current clarity in thought puts you in a good steed to seek truth and see through deception. Ooh. I'm going to say that one more time because it's kind of sexy. Your current clarity in thought puts you in good steed to seek truth and see through deception. Whew. Oh, I like it. With such power in your life, it is, sorry, sometimes the editors get a little wicked. Okay. With such a power in your life, it is important to act responsibly, taking your next steps in service to others as a partial antidote to the chaotic corruption of power.